Hey guys, Mitch here. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the steps and kind of the process that I went through in order to pursue deep brain stimulation for my severe treatment-refractory OCD. So I've written about this on my blog here, and I'll post the link to the post in the description box below so that you guys can read and follow along. For those of you who don't know, I have severe OCD and anxiety and panic disorder, and I was recently approved for deep brain stimulation procedure in November of last year. So I currently am scheduled to have the procedure done on January 26th will be the stage 1 of the procedure, and stage 2 of the procedure will be on February 2nd. So currently I am scheduled to have the actual surgery done. I was deemed a candidate for the procedure. I just recently, yesterday, got back from Seattle from having a MRI and blood and urine sample testing appointment, and also a pre-op appointment with my physician's assistant. Basically, to start out, how to go about pursuing deep brain stimulation for your severe OCD, a brief / simplified and summarized how-to. So the first steps are you want to really analyze your symptoms and make it a determination on whether or not they are negatively impacting your life in a severe way. If they're causing you disablement, if they're causing you loss of function at school or work, or causing you to have a negative quality of life. You definitely want to consider seeking care from a healthcare professional or doctor for your OCD. So this could be a psychiatrist, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, a neurologist, a psychologist, a therapist, somebody to start seeing to establish care. This is very important if you have OCD that maybe you haven't had treated before and you are just interested in this procedure, but you haven't had any treatment for your OCD professionally. You really want to establish care with somebody so that you have a place to go from, and that you have access to treatment options available. The second part of this introduction is those of you who are pursuing deep brain stimulation for your OCD, who have severe OCD and who are pursuing deep brain stimulation and who are curious about the procedure, you definitely want to view this video that I made about the criteria for deep brain stimulation for OCD. So I'll link that in the description below. It's just a video going over all the criteria that one must meet in order to be considered a candidate for deep brain stimulation for the OCD procedure. If you don't meet all or any of this criteria, then unfortunately you're not going to be selected by your neurosurgeon and psychiatrist and committee to be a candidate for deep brain stimulation for OCD. So it's very important that you view this video and that you view the criteria list so that you're familiar with what criteria you need to meet in order to be considered for this procedure. I said here, if you don't meet most or all of the criteria, then talk with your psychologist, psychiatrist, psychiatric nurse practitioner, or neurologist and discuss further treatment methods. So further treatment methods could look like medication. There's lots of different medications that can be used to treat OCD, such as Luvox, Zoloft, citalopram, Lexapro, Prozac, Paxil, clomipramine, there's a whole laundry list of medications that can be used by your psychiatrist or doctor and be prescribed to you to treat your OCD. So, there's lots of medication options available. So that's probably definitely the first place to start if you don't meet the criteria and you haven't had your OCD treated, is continue trying different medications and experimenting with medication cocktails and seeing which meds work for you and if you get any symptom relief. Other treatment options may look like therapy with a licensed mental health care therapist. So cognitive behavioral therapy, ERP therapy, EMDR therapy. Another treatment option could be like transcranial magnetic stimulation therapy, TMS therapy. There's lots of treatment options out there available for OCD, so definitely take advantage of them and, try as much of them as you can and see which ones work for you, or if they don't work for you, then you can pursue this deep brain stimulation procedure And the more treatment options you've tried and that have failed, the more likely you are to be a candidate for this deep brain stimulation procedure. So, you definitely want to exhaust all treatment options possible before pursuing this procedure, because this procedure is technically, for all intents and purposes, a last resort treatment for the treatment of OCD. So if you do meet all or most of the criteria for deep brain stimulation for OCD, then what you want to do is you want to find a neurosurgeon and hospital nearest you that will perform the deep brain stimulation procedure for OCD. So I said here, make sure that the hospital and neurosurgeon perform deep brain stimulation for OCD and psychiatric conditions specifically. Some hospitals only perform deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's and movement disorders, and some hospitals and doctors are prohibited by U.S. state law from performing deep brain stimulation for psychiatric conditions. So, reach out to a neurosurgeon, a clinic, a hospital. Ask about scheduling an appointment with a neurosurgeon or a neurologist or a psychiatrist. They may require a referral from your primary care physician. This isn't the case in all circumstances, but in my circumstance, it was. So, if you do note that you may need a referral from your PCP, but reach out to a neurosurgeon and see if they can schedule an appointment with you to be seen to discuss the possibility of the deep brain stimulation procedure and discuss your candidacy for the procedure. During the first appointment, you'll likely go over all your health history, your current symptoms, your past history and treatment methods, and all the treatment modalities that you've done. Typically your neurosurgeon should be able to give you a pretty clear answer within either the first or second appointment on whether or not you're even going to be considered a candidate for deep brain stimulation. The case with me was I had 2 appointments with 2 different three appointments with 3 different neurosurgeons across the country. And for each one, at each appointment, the first appointment, they were, pretty certain. They're like, yeah, you sound like you are a candidate for this procedure. It looks like you've exhausted all treatment options. And from what I could see, you seem like you'd be the perfect candidate. So they'll likely know whether or not you'll be a good candidate for the procedure from the get-go. Just from, discussing with you your prior treatment history and what all treatment modalities you've exhausted and what your symptoms are and stuff like that. If your neurosurgeon does say that he or she thinks you may be a candidate for the procedure, then they will schedule you more appointments. These appointments may include appointments with psychiatrists, neuropsychological testing, appointments like MRI, brain scan, blood labs, urine sample testing, appointments with a neurologist. There's many appointments that you have to do before you get to the approve or deny stage. So once you've done all these appointments, then your neurosurgeon or his or her nurse or PA will gather all your information. They'll start building a case for you, and they'll present it to somebody either who is on the deep brain stimulation committee at their hospital, or they'll present it to their team of neurosurgeons and at the neurosurgery clinic at the hospital that you're seeking care at, and they'll come up with a determination on whether or not you are either a candidate for the procedure, or B, if you're not a suitable candidate for the procedure. So they'll either A, approve you, or B, deny you. I was A, approved, so I am getting this procedure done, and I'm so thankful to just my neurosurgeon and everybody that I was approved, and that I'm going to be able to have this procedure done, because it can be life-changing for people. So I'm hoping that will be the case for me. Once you get to that stage, you'll get a definitive answer. And if they say that you are a suitable candidate for deep brain stimulation, then they'll pursue the treatment with you, and you'll be able to have the multiple appointments needed and all the brain MRIs and the testing done to help, kind of help your neurosurgeon with the procedure, and do all the pre-op stuff for your procedure. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. This is just sort of the process that I went and followed for getting deep brain stimulation. I had reached out to a neurosurgeon at my local hospital, and he was unable to perform the procedure. So I reached out to some neurosurgeons across the country and talked with them, and they, gave me good advice. And, ultimately, I was referred to a neurosurgeon in Seattle, which is only a 3-hour drive north of Portland. So it's very practical for me to get this procedure done in Seattle because the travel time isn't very long, and we luckily have friends in the area who we're able to stay with for all of my appointments and for my post-op after surgery and stuff like that. But finding a neurosurgeon can be tough. So if you have any questions about finding a neurosurgeon, definitely let me know in the comments down below. A good place to find hospitals and neurosurgeons that perform deep brain stimulation for OCD is on the clinicaltrials.gov website. You can just go there and type in deep brain stimulation as the procedure and OCD as the condition, and hit search, and it'll populate a list of active and current studies that are being done by hospitals and neurosurgeons. And you can go through and kind of see where they're located and see which ones are closest to you. Also, you can just play the telephone game and just call up local hospitals and universities nearest you and see if they offer this procedure for OCD. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. And like I said, this was just kind of the process that I used in order to get the ball rolling for my deep brain stimulation procedure. So your process may look different. Your appointments may look different. You may have more appointments than I did. You may have less appointments than I did. But this is just kind of the overall kind of an overview on like how to go about pursuing deep brain stimulation for your severe OCD. So anyways, those of you who are suffering with OCD know that I'm with you, and that I've been in your footsteps. I am in your footsteps, and I know what it's like to suffer with extreme OCD. It's not fun. And so I hope that you are able to find the relief you're seeking, whether that be through deep brain stimulation or whether that be through other treatment methods. But just know that there's many of us out there who are suffering just like you. And, for deep brain stimulation in particular, it's a very exclusive club. There's only about 350-ish people worldwide that have had this procedure done for specifically OCD. So we're in a small group, but, hopefully over time with the progression of medical technology and medical advancements, there will be more treatment options available for OCD, and maybe more medications available for OCD, and more, better ways to treat OCD. Who knows what's out there in the future. So we can only hope that there's some way to, treat OCD better, and to hopefully even cure it maybe eventually one day. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful for you. And stay tuned to my channel and blog if you want to keep an update on my surgery process, and my pre-op or post-op appointments, and programming of the neurostimulator device. I'll be uploading videos from the hospital and from my doctor's appointments on my YouTube channel, and I'll be posting blog updates from the hospital and post-op. So if you're interested in that, just visit dbs4ocd.blogspot.com, and or check the description for the link in the description box, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.